Sounds like you have a great group. Our Indivisible is so disappointing. We have 1,300 members. Wow. And it's ran solely by two women. They don't let us put input in meetings or ask for feedback or decisions. Thank you for sharing this, and I'm so sorry that's been your experience thus far. Grassroots organizing is really messy, y'all. Working with other people is messy. Honestly, my experience working with nonprofits and other community organizing groups in the past has shown me that any of the toxic people that exist in regular society, they will show up. They will show up in all of these groups. Now, I'm not saying these women are toxic, but I would just encourage you, if your local Indivisible group is not working for you, start a new one. There is no limit on how many Indivisible groups there can be. It sounds like if there's 1,300 people in your group and only 2 people are running the show, that there is room there for expansion. There is room to make another group. A group with maybe more of a representative democracy, a group with maybe a broader leadership team, a group where people feel a little bit more empowered and are able to act. Those are just growing pains that we go through, right? It's just saying, you know what, I'm not going to cause conflict in this group, but this isn't working for me. And there's space at the table for all of us. If this group is doing good work on behalf of democracy, but the framework is not what you need, is not serving you and your neighborhood, then start a new group. I know other organizations are experiencing some of these growing pains as well. 5051 has had some of this. And any time where we are stepping into organizing and we're seeing this huge amount of growth, right? We're seeing people flooding into these groups, new groups being formed all of the time. It's going to be messy. There's going to be difficulty. There's going to be hiccups. There's going to be tension. It's just the way that this works. People with really good intent who care about the same things that you care about, maybe they don't necessarily have all of the communication skills, or maybe they are not able to let go of control. Maybe they're not really good at facilitating and delegating. If you feel like you could have a conversation with those women, then maybe try that. But if you think that that's just going to cause unnecessary conflict and is not going to get the outcome that you need, start a new group. I talked about this in another video, but I think a lot of us are struggling with the loss of skills, or we have skills that have atrophied when it comes to engaging in community. You know, the pandemic really did a number on our social skills, on our connections with each other. And for many of us, what's happening right now, we are having to reconstitute those skills for the first time in many years. And we're real rusty at having relationships with new people and trying out new things and forging new community. And so that means that a lot of this is not going to be pretty. There's going to be conflict. In any healthy community, conflict is very normal. The issue is, do we have the skills to help resolve it in an equally healthy way? And in permaculture, we say the problem is the solution. Every crisis that we face, every moment of conflict, every problem that creeps up, how is that actually a chance for us to grow? How can we reframe the situation and say, how can we be solution-minded? What can we get out of this that is positive? What can we gain from this thing that we're going through, from this experience? And I really think the growing pains that a lot of our grassroots groups are going through, a lot of the conflict that we're having, that is highlighting for us that we have a chance to learn a lot of communication skills, a lot of conflict resolution skills, that we get to learn how to be restorative in our relationships with each other. We live in a society that very much leans into retribution, very much leans into cutting people out. We're in a culture that's really punitive, but if we're going to build this really broad-based coalition of very diverse people with all kinds of conflict and all kinds of disagreements, but we're going to come together in solidarity around the restoration of our democracy, how is this a chance for us to learn conflict resolution skills? How is this a chance for us to learn to be in community with people that we don't always agree with, that we don't always get along with? How can we learn that allyship doesn't mean that everybody's going to be your bestie? You're not going to vibe with everybody. You're not going to hit it off with every single person that you're working with. Some people are going to be real prickly. Some people are going to be struggling with their social skills. Some people are not going to meet your expectations, but they still can be your ally in the fight for democracy. And I really believe that one of the good things that can come out of all of this organizing that we're having to do now, the fact that we're going to have to come together, we're going to have to lean on each other, hold hands with each other to hold the line, that we have a chance to deconstruct from a lot of the toxic individualism in American culture. That we have a chance to learn how to build the village. We have a chance to learn what it means to be a villager. We have a chance to learn what it means to have community with other people where we work through conflicts, where our goal is accountability and reconciliation. It's not simply just to punish, where we realize that we actually do need each other, that it's not something we can do by ourselves. We are incapable of solving this as individuals. We must come together as a giant group, and we must really bond together and be a cohesive unit. And that's really difficult in a society that has leaned so heavily into individualism for so long. Where a lot of us are really lonely, and the pandemic has only exacerbated the giant rift between people and organizations. It has only served to isolate us from community, where we have forgotten what it looks like, where our skills are, as I said at the beginning, somewhat atrophied, and we kind of have to build our muscles now. Our community muscles, our communication muscles. This is a chance to skill build, to learn conflict resolution skills, to learn de-escalation skills, to learn how to feel our distress, how to experience discomfort and say, I'm not going to walk away. I'm not going to get angry. I'm not going to get reactive. I'm going to sit with my uncomfortable feelings of this community group is not quite what I thought it was going to be. I'm having conflict with somebody and that makes me feel uncomfortable. I'm being disappointed in some ways. I'm being frustrated in other ways. And I'm willing to sit with that. I'm willing to sit with that distress, and I'm willing to endure it for the sake of the cause that we're in. And I think that's a really exciting and a really scary prospect at the same time. And it gives me a lot of hope for the future of our country. I think one of the reasons that our society has so quickly fallen into fascism is because we are very fractured. We didn't create an America that serves to meet the needs of society. We didn't create an America where we think about each other's well-being and we support each other in that way. We have leaned into our centuries-old mindset of toxic individualism. And we are kind of seeing the final boss of that with fascism, where people have leaned into their hate, they've leaned into their selfishness, they've thought only about their own comfort and their own security. Like, fuck everybody else around me. It's all about me and mine. And I think we have a chance as the resistance to push back against that narrative, to say, that's not actually the way that we build a prosperous America. That's not actually the way that we have security and a high quality of life for everybody here. That's the way that, like, a couple of really rich motherfuckers at the top, they exploit all of the rest of us. That's the way that we actively make life worse for every working class person, so that a few fat cats up at the top, a few rich, technocrat bros can consolidate all of our money using our life hours and our labor. So I really think one of the key things about the resistance is the way that we are learning to have community with each other. We're learning to prioritize the most vulnerable in society. We're learning to prioritize our collective good. We're learning to think about, how do we create an America that works for everybody? How do we create an America of, by, and for the people? For the people, not for an individual here and an individual there. How do we see ourselves as the collective American people and function as a community? And what a compelling counter narrative that is to what the fascists offer. Like, hey, we can do right by all of us. We all can live abundant lives. We all can have safety and security. This is the wealthiest nation on earth. And yes, being in relationship with other people and prioritizing other people, that can feel really uncomfortable. It can be really challenging. We can have conflict. It's going to be messy. It's going to be imperfect. But, like, how much more worthy and how much greater the rewards of struggling to create a society like that than the truly bleak and miserable vision of American society that Trump and Elon Musk want to create. So I don't know. I know I waxed a little bit philosophical here, but I think growing pains are normal. I think community is messy. And I'm so sorry that this has been disappointing for you, but I would encourage you to think about how you can create an opportunity out of that. How can you say, I'm going to start my own group? Or maybe we could sit down and have a chat with these women and say, what's our goal here? How do we meet our goal? How do we help 1,300 people feel empowered to work to fight for their community, for their democracy, for their family, for their future, for this country? I just want to encourage you, don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. Much of this is very normal. How can we use all of that very normal conflict, all of that very normal frustration and disappointment to work toward reconciliation, and then to empower people to push forward to create an America where we restore our democracy, where we have abundance and prosperity for all?